This is Brian with ScreenFiles.com and Review. And what I'm looking at today is 2009's Drag Me to Hell, directed by Sam Raimi, which I wanted to watch again because Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness is coming out soon. And I wanted to refresh my memory about something Sam Raimi has done recently. And he actually hasn't been directing a lot in the past decade or so. So Drag Me to Hell is probably one of his more recent efforts. And to be honest, I did not like this movie at all. Now keep in mind something. When I say that, I'm not saying it's a bad movie, a term which is virtually meaningless. What I am talking about is that it's a very confused movie. It feels to me like something Sam Raimi was firmly at the helm of. Which is to say, I don't think this is a compromised movie. And it needed compromise. In this movie, Sam Raimi has a tendency to repeat physical stunts. If it works the first time, why not a second? Why not a third? It repeats certain physical set pieces. And the thing is, if they were effective the second time, I perhaps could understand it, but the first time is shocking. The second time is kind of, okay, that happened. The third time it's like mystification. And the fourth time is just plain nuts. It doesn't make any sense the way this movie is handled. As I said, it's not a bad movie. It's just a movie that doesn't know what it is. It revolves around a bank teller who, in an effort to compete in inter-office politics, refuses a loan to this gypsy. The gypsy in turn curses her. And this is where the movie goes wrong. It seems to be playing really hard at being a comedy. But it's not funny, not particularly, not the third and fourth time around. So it's not funny, but it's taken very seriously by everybody concerned. But the scenario is too ridiculous to be taken seriously. So that doesn't work either. Though, as I said, it's not a bad movie. It's certainly watchable. Sam Raimi has a certain visual style, certain affectations that are fascinating to watch. The way he moves around a camera, the way he plays, I was about to say the way he plays with light and dark, but he really doesn't all that much. But the way he plays with sound design and shock are really interesting. But left to his own devices, his movie, well, I should say, Drag Me to Hell, is just not very good. If it would just settle on one tone, it would have benefited immensely. Which is to say, either be a genuinely scary movie or be a genuine comedy. Meshing them together ends up with something really bland and not terribly interesting. And what's mildly ironic is that 2013's Evil Dead, Fede Alvarez's remake of Sam Raimi's Evil Dead, is a significantly funnier movie. Which is to say, what Fede Alvarez does is that he takes essentially the same material as Raimi's movie. But he makes it so incredibly gory that it's almost hilarious to watch. It's difficult to watch, to be sure. In fact, I'm going to watch it again in the next few days. Hard movie to watch. But it's so ridiculously over-the-top gory that it's almost funny. It's hilarious in a sense. Sam Raimi seems to be plying similar waters, but his failure to commit to his conceit doesn't work for the material. And speaking of the material, it also doesn't really make much sense. No, that's not really fair, actually. it does make sense, but it's a very unsatisfyingly told story. And I don't mean that from the standpoint of the way it was directed. It was directed without focus, at least to me, but it was well done. It's the idea that this woman, the bank teller, who is competing with someone else for the assistant manager position, doesn't deserve anything that happens to her in the movie. She's not. Her behavior in reference to this old woman is a bit craven, to be sure, but come on, is that really that unusual these days? Well, it's actually kind of sad that it's not. In reality, it's not. But it's just the idea that a demon, well, I should mention, the old woman's house was going to be foreclosed, which means she would lose it, which is a terrible thing. But as a result of that, to drag someone to hell seems a bit much. And a lot of people talk a lot about how Marvel interferes with a director's process. That's true to varying degrees. I think it was certainly true earlier on. Now so, not so much. And from reviews I've read of Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, it appears that while directed by Sam Raimi, he's not the only person guiding this movie, or the only important person guiding this movie's development. And I thank the gods for it. Because if Drag Me to Hell is any indicator, someone is needed to rein in Sam Raimi's worst tendencies. So what do you think? This is Brian with ScreenFiles.com in review. Do you agree, disagree? Let me know down below. And as usual, consider a like or a follow. Peace.